What's up, guys? So I've made a ton of these videos, a ton of these mobility series, but I want you to be able to use them effectively. We've made 230 of them. Today is episode 230, and I appreciate you for watching, but today I want to make it most effective for you to go back through, scroll, use them as we go through 365 days of a daily warm-up. So I want to keep it nice and simple. I'm going to talk to you about how we can know how much mobility we need, and then also how we understand what we need to work on, what body part we need to work on with mobility. And I'm going to keep it super simple, like I said. So how much mobility do you need? Well, it depends on what you do. You need enough to be able to do what you do effectively for a long time without pain. So do what you do effectively for a long time and without pain. So that's going to be different for each and every person. It's different from a person that works at an office to a person that is an athlete and that has to compete each and every day. Different from a person that goes to the gym and works out. Different from somebody that actually utilizes the full range of their hips each and every day in their everyday movement. It really depends. But we are going to talk about how you can tell if you have a restriction in mobility. And the one way I like to do that, it's super simple. We could go through tons of different tests. If I were to work with you one-on-one, we would go through a lot more than just this. But for us right now, for this video, for you to be able to apply this to yourself right now, it's going to be the overhead squat. And you're going to take a dowel rod. It can be a PVC pipe dowel rod, broomstick, any of the above, and you can do this right at home, right where you're at. And here's how we go. So what I want you to do is place your feet underneath your hips. You can go feet shoulder width apart, a little bit wider than that, and toes can slightly point out. What I want you to do is place this stick on your head, and then you're just going to press it up and overhead, just like so. And then you're going to try to sit down into a nice deep squat. If you can do so, then you're pretty good with the mobility, and you've got good range of motion that you can roll with. And I mean, maybe it's going to feel tight if you can do so, but like for me, myself, it's my ankles and it's my shoulder mobility. I can do that position, but I also work at it each and every day so I can get into those positions. The more I warm up, the more I can get into it. But it's my shoulders and my ankles that I feel that the most. So how are you going to be able to tell what's going on with yourself? Well, first things first, if you go to sit back into that squat and your shins won't go forward, if your knees won't come forward like that and they stay back here like this, you most likely have an ankle mobility problem. A result of that is going to probably be, so I go from ankles down, my head's up, I've got a good upright torso. Now I shift my hips back so my ankles they don't have good mobility. Look what happens to my torso. It collapses forward, my arms point forward. So what looks like a thoracic spine problem, so if I was here, if I have good ankle mobility here, and my thoracic spine is still forward, if my torso is still forward, now we've got a shoulder thoracic spine problem. If I'm able to sit upright, this would be good, or relatively good. But then watch my ankles go back, my torso drops down. So you can tell, here would be a thoracic spine problem because I've got good ankle mobility. Here would be an ankle problem, just like so. Now, if you have your hips shift side to side, hopefully that makes sense. If you have your hips shift side to side, you could have a hip and or knee stability problem, hip mobility or knee stability problem, and your hips are shifting side to side in that. So maybe for you, it looks like this here, like that. We've either got knee stability or hip mobility there. And it could be core stability, all the above. So that's just one way. A lot of times it's going to be the shoulders. And or another way, let's go back. Another way that you could tell if you have bad shoulder mobility is if your arms are bent. If your elbows are bent and you're trying to push back, most likely shoulder mobility. So that's just a quick, simple way that you guys can test right at home to see where you're at with your mobility and what you need to focus on. So with that, take that information, go find 3 different videos, or maybe it's just one video that you like within the daily warm-up, and continue to be consistent with it. Like I've preached in all 229 videos, it's all about the consistency. Have a great day.